Welcome everyone to round 3 of the Beaver State Fling. We're playing the East Course this round. My name is Paige Pierce.
And I'm Madison Walker. We're happy to be back talking you guys through this round.
This round we have Sarah Hokom, myself, Valarie Jenkins, and Catrina Allen.
We had a little bit better weather today. Definitely not as much rain, which was nice. More off and on, which is tolerable.
This is hole 1. It's a dogleg to the right. You're wanting to throw a high anhyzer or a high sidearm.
You don't want it to come out of the anhyzer line because if you hyzer out, it goes left into a bunch of trees and it gives you no look at the basket. So you want to make sure it holds that anhyzer line the whole way down.
The more severe of a turn, the better.
Also, if you hyzer out or anhyzer a little early, there's a bunch of trees too, but you do have a little bit more of a look at the basket from those big bushes than you would if you hyzer out early.
Next up in the box, Catrina Allen.
Next up is Catrina. Looks like she's throwing her M4. Actually, it might be her M2. They look the same. She wasn't super happy with that. She gave it a little too much time in the air and it kind of hyzered out into those woods Madison was talking about.
Yeah, I actually watched that tee shot from where I am there on hole 4, but and it kind of came out a little bit early too. She might have a look being that far left, but once you're in those trees, there's really nothing you can do.
Val with a nice anhyzer. It's really sharp as you can see. Rounds the corner and no trouble of the trees on the left.
That'll be a nice easy 3.
Sarah Hokom.
I like watching Val with her new bag. She's really killing it out there. It's making sense.
I like watching Sarah.
True.
Her sidearms are amazing.
The shot was awesome.
She puts her entire body into each and every shot, so it's awesome to watch. Great high sidearm, no trouble at all, easy 3.
There's not a lot of trouble at the basket here. It kind of slopes a little bit, but mostly nothing to contend with. There's, just like any other Milo hole, there's trees inside the circle, so you might have some obstructed putts, but that's something you kind of get ready for when you're playing Milo.
Hokom with the backhand approach. Woo. Under the basket.
Oh yeah.
Kind of tickled that early branch right in front of me. I had tunnel vision, didn't even see it till I let it go. And the rest will just be easy tap
routine. So the next few holes we kind of get to, the fairway will be open on hole 2, but it works into the woods, and then we get a couple really awesome, typical Milo wooded holes with all the mossy trees, and it's really thick overhead cover, so it's shady.
And
some of the prettiest holes. It is perfect. Some of the prettiest holes we get to play all year.
All-star pars on that one. Moving on to hole 2. Like Mad said, wide open tee shot, and then you're doglegging right again, but this time up and into woods.
This one you don't want to crash in early. It gives you not any sort of look at the basket. You also don't want to
automatic 4.
Oh yeah, pretty much. And it's another low ceiling green and uphill, so that combo makes it a pretty finite approach shot. If you go deep, you also have pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
So you have to do like kind of touchy approach shot placement.
I don't even try to turn it. I just throw it dead straight. Anywhere in the short grass, I'm stoked with.
Yeah, that's a nice safe shot. You'll have an easy look. The camera work, you can't quite tell how steep that hill is. It's pretty straight up and down. If you have to stand on that hill for putting, it's a little slippery.
Catrina goes driver,
Wow.
tries to go in the gap. We actually heard that tree, so we knew she kind of got stopped.
That was a great shot.
Yeah, she goes for the green every year on this hole. Val with the stalker.
Ooh, she got some tree love.
Yeah, a little friendly kick there. Could have been trouble.
Yeah, if you get in those bushes, a lot of times you have to throw either like sitting down or down on your knees. You can't even stand up in there.
Sarah lines herself up good for a putt. But it is a long one, and like Mad said, that hill's more severe than you think.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a dangerous hill because if you hit the basket and land, you're almost 100% going to roll. But there is a nice safe landing zone behind the basket. It flattens out up there, so you don't have to worry about rolling on the other side.
Easy up and down. She didn't want to go for it and get too risky. Same with Cat. We have a couple tap-ins for another run of All-Star Par.
Boring.
Boring. Doesn't feel boring out there, though.
No, it doesn't. I went 4-4 on these first 2 holes. I would have loved to go boring 3-3.
And we're on to hole 3. I think it almost doesn't fit in with Milo because there's not a gap necessarily. I don't feel like there's a gap unless you can throw a flex sidearm 380, you know.
Yeah, you pretty much kind of try to hit the first gap. Like you focus on hitting between these 2 big trees that we're going through right now. If you get through that gap, it's kind of a poke and hope after that. You can go to the left of that huge tree down there and there's like do a forehand skip shot after you've worked it, but I mean it's not an easy
Yeah,
shot.
for 90% of the women's field, we don't have that shot.
No.
Sarah Hokom may prove us otherwise, but
Yeah, you'll see a lot of backhand turnovers, kind of just hoping.
I just turn it over and hope I get through the trees. If I don't, I'm fine with it. If I do, super stoked.
I've 2'd this hole 1 time.
Really? Sidearm?
Sidearm with a destroyer,
Nice.
but it's not a shot that I could replicate very easily. Getting out the initial gap is tougher than it looks. Those guardian trees do exactly what they're called. They guard. And if you hit them or hit on either side of them, you are pretty much guaranteed a bogey from that point. There's not any real true way to get up and down from there.
Yeah, and this is right when the rain started hitting. Even though it's so guarded, we definitely felt the presence of the
Wow,
raindrops.
Hokom doesn't disappoint. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was so sweet.
That was
awesome.
amazing.
Val from in the woods, great out, but unfortunate kick backwards.
Even though where all those trees are on the right-hand side, it seems open. Once you get in there, not only is it an obstructed putt, there's also not really a whole lot of smooth putter lines to the basket.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to pitch out.
Val with a great up. Kat just left herself with about a 30-footer. Hokom's looking at about the same. And this was just outside.
Woo! Nice putt. Those 2 vines by the basket are kind of fun. They're like a little obstacle course. Putt disc golf. Ooh, with the bunny hop.
I was stoked about that one.
That's a great 2.
I think that tree was more in her way than what we can tell.
Oh, okay.
It looked like she had to hyzer, yeah. Catrina just a little high. It looked like it was on line, just a little high. Val taps in.
Another umbrella
Yeah,
putt.
I was gonna say that.
Another.
I mean, in this rain, you don't ever want to leave your umbrella, so.
No, I never mark my mini when I have a tap in and use that putter. I usually always just use a different disc, but I was trying to salvage and keep them all dry.
Yeah, save
using my
some towels.
mini. Yeah. It got pretty crazy there for a second. You can't tell as much because we're in the woods and it's a little covered, but it got pretty. We had some heavy rain for a second. I think we got half an inch in 20 minutes, so it was pretty insane.
This is hole 4. It's one of the tighter holes. There is a true gap that we're going through right now. So if you hit that gap and your disc is flying forward, you are going to have a putt.
Wow, that footage made it look so magical.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, you throw a backhand here, huh?
Why would I throw a sidearm?
I don't know. It's just such a sidearm hole.
Really?
Yeah, I threw a sidearm. This is another hole, too, where the tee pad is facing actually pretty much perpendicular to where the hole is.
Yeah.
It's facing straight into the woods instead of down the fairway. A lot of people will only cross over the front of the tee pad, literally run across it sideways.
Yeah, the front right of the tee pad is where we're planting.
Everyone in my group threw a sidearm. We didn't throw any backhands. Even Annie.
Like a slight early release there, but good thing the disc kind of flipped up a little bit, and she actually left herself with a nice putt. I would say it's right about circle's edge. She'll just have to straddle out around that tree.
You can't really, from the camera angle, you can't really see the fairway, but there is a pretty nice gap, even though it looks like there's a whole bunch of trees. This one definitely has a very defined gap.
Bow hit early, but she still gets up and down. Threes are good, especially in the rain and especially at Milo. Great putt from Catrina. Super straddled out to the left. Great.
Yeah. 2 good ones in a row.
We heard some clapping from a different hole, and she thought it was for her.
Even if it's not, you always take it.
Or she hoped it was for her, you know? And we're closing out hole 4, walking over to hole 5 right now, which is, in my opinion, the toughest gap to hit on the course.
I agree.
If you hit early, you're looking at a bogey to a double bogey right off the bat.
All right, we are back at hole 5. Like Paige said, this is probably the toughest gap to hit at the course. It's a short hole, only 281 feet, but you really have to have kind of a finite backhand hyzer. It's really pretty much the only option if you're trying to get a 2.
A lot of the guys throw a sidearm roller. I believe Hokom does as well, but you don't really see that. So we're just looking for a soft hyzer. Not like that.
That guardian tree on the right gets, I would say, 99% of people.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it looks like I think it's already dead. Oh, nice. The sidearm roller is really hard on this hole. It looks straightforward there, but it's a slanting left to right hill, downhill. And so trying to get it to land on edge and continue without just petering out is really, really tough. A lot of people will end up going straight. Nice. Or turning it over too much like that, which is not a bad move. At least you'll, forward momentum towards the basket.
Definitely.
If you do what Paige did and kick right, there's some thick woods over there. Pretty much your only option is either to pitch out or throw a Hail Mary over the trees, but there's not a lot of options over there.
Yeah, as soon as I threw that tee shot, I knew I was looking at a bogey to a double bogey. Mm-hmm. Especially when I walked up and saw that.
That was a great shot. Holy
yeah,
cow.
she parked it.
It's pinned.
She absolutely parked it.
Amazing.
FollowFlight shot tracker.
Just making it look easy.
I have nothing. Decide to pitch out. Now I know I'm going for a double bogey at best.
This is still such a hard shot.
It's kind of hard to swallow knowing you're going to lose 3 strokes to Val on one hole on a 280 foot hole.
It takes you 6 throws to get 280 feet. Oh, wait, not you. That was me. I went 5-6 on this dang hole.
But that's what this hole's designed for,
Yep.
Risk reward.
Is it risk reward or
Well,
is it
not risk
hope and hope?
Yeah. Well, hey, if you hit the gap, you're stoked. If you don't, you are hating life.
Personally, Milo MacGyver, this is the only hole I don't like, so I just think this is the terrible hole. I think it's
Are you sure?
Yeah. 11 strokes in 2 rounds on 1 hole. No, thank you. 11 strokes in 300. This green is a little bit slopey too if you hit the cage in. There's definitely an ability to roll. See it happen a bunch. Also, that big tree next to Val right now is creates a very obstructed putt if you land to the right of it. It's hard to straddle either way around it, but
Absolutely. That tree is way bigger than it looks on camera.
yeah. Well, let's just get away from this hole. Forget it to even exist.
Yeah, on to the next hole, which the next few are all pretty relatively open, I would say.
Yeah.
So you just want a long, flat shot that's gonna hyzer out at the end. For us girls, we don't really have many that can to it. So really, we're just trying to get it out there.
Yeah, I got a putt for 2 on this hole.
Nice.
If you crash early left, you're gonna basically be giving yourself a bogey. That's where you absolutely don't want to be on this hole.
Yeah, the one no is early left.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of people playing way out to the right. That's a smart play. It gives you more of an open look at the basket. No trouble around the basket at all. There's even almost like a little bushy back drop, so you don't have to worry about going deep. Pretty straightforward disc golf hole.
Hokom, this was a beautiful sidearm shot, perfectly placed. Catrina with a D2, it looks like. I think she let that go a little earlier than she wanted, but that actually
still worked through.
Yeah, that's actually the only gap to get to the basket if you're trying to. So might have been on purpose. Mine was not on purpose. Complete early release.
Oh no.
Yeah. And this is my first sidearm roller
No,
ever
you
in
didn't.
tournament. And I pimped it. I didn't know what disc to throw, what angle to throw it on.
Are you serious?
Nothing. I missed my putt, don't worry. Spoiler.
You've never thrown a sidearm roller in your life.
I was so excited that I got up
so
there and
good.
missed. I was so excited.
Wow, that was impressive.
And Jacko was caddying for me, and she goes, "Really? Sidearm roller?" I was like, "Well, how else am I gonna get there?" Catrina with a putter and hyzer.
She's good at those flick putters.
Smooth, right into the mulch. It's all you want.
What you got? Like 30 feet?
No.
25?
No. 20. 18 to 22.
Oh.
I was...
That would have been sweet to capitalize on that.
Yeah,
roller.
I know. So everyone threes and I get the 4, and we're on to hole 7, which is one of my favorite holes actually. How about you?
It's definitely an awesome, beautiful rolling hill. A little bit of elevation change. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I like the tighter wooded holes for sure.
It's really pretty.
It is so pretty.
And I believe this is the start of the par 4 stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row par 4s coming up. So we will see some longer shots on these next few.
We also get to the part of the course where we do get to have a little bit of elevation change. You'll see some rolling hills. This is another one where you don't want to crash left. That's absolutely the only place on the fairway you don't want to be early left. Those trees over there in the dark shadows, there's really no out. So you want to make sure you go either straight or err to the right if you're going to err.
Mm-hmm. Penetrate forward as long as you can before you get that hyzer finish.
This one kind of horseshoes back a little bit to the left, but it's far down to the left. So the farther you can get out there, the more open of an approach shot you'll have. And it'll be, for the women, it'll be another drive.
Bow around the corner, all you really want. In the short grass. They do a good job at marking the fairways with the defined grass lines.
Ooh, little redirect.
Yeah, a little kick up, and
That's not a bad place to be over there, though.
yeah, she was kind of tucked in and had to throw a standstill, which she wasn't stoked about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still, after you get through and land, like where Cat is, it's still another, 300 feet to the basket from there?
Oh, more than that. Well, it says 585 for the hole, so probably, yeah, I guess
yeah,
so.
somewhere in there. 325.
Throw my Biofusion Defender to get that extra little glide left at the end.
That's perfect. I'm surprised I got a skip. I could not get a skip out there all day.
If I got one, it was unexpected for sure. The grass was quite a bit catchy out there.
That tall grass over there is not a bad place to be. She'll have a wide open look at the basket. This green's not protected at all. It is a little low ceiling, but right at the basket, so you don't really have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, if you put it out too wide and leave yourself on the right side, you kind of have an obstructed putt by those big two trees, or you could have an obstructed putt, but it doesn't happen too often. Val with a great shot. She was tucked into the woods a little bit. Had to throw a blind hyzer.
I had my first ever putt for 3 on this hole. It was
Nice.
awesome. Yeah. These two distant shots were a little out of my range until this year, so it's cool to hang with the big boys.
And we're all on the green, so it's going to come to the putts. Val for 3.
Yeah.
Got it. She just switched to Jawbreaker Roaches. She's loving them.
Except for the name.
Yeah.
She's like, why did they have to be called that?
Catrina for 3.
She looks like she had a big straddle.
Yeah, she wasn't happy with that lie for sure.
There's a lot of those out there, that's for sure. They're pretty much surrounding every green.
Yeah.
There's about half open, half not.
And Hokom putts out as well. We walk over to hole 8, which I think is the lowest ceiling hole. On your second shot anyway.
Yes,
I mean,
definitely.
You have to throw
First
it
and second
so
shot.
low. And like we're talking about, there's no skips, so it's kind of a dilemma as to what to do.
The next one's a par 4 as well?
Yep, the next 4 are par 4s.
Yeah, this one it would be very impressive.
Oh, par 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I feel like it's a par 4.
Well, there's no way to get to the basket and get a 2. So I guess it's like a really long par 3, but there's literally unless you're throwing a roller, there's no line to the basket for a 2, no air shot line. Most women just crash a hyzer up under those shady trees and throw their approach from there, but it's easier said than done. There's a lot of obstruction. This hole, you do not want to land on the right side of the fairway, over in the tall grass.
Val's looking for that to skip a little, and it does, so she won't have any trees in her way, just some low-hanging branches. Val's really good at air bouncing approach shots, so I'm guessing she'll have no trouble with that.
Those big trees in the middle are brutal. If you land anywhere near them, it takes away pretty much any of your shots.
Hokom's up next with a sidearm.
This is a tough sidearm hole.
I had never seen this gap she took.
Yeah, I never
Back
have
door.
either.
It was awesome.
I always, whenever played, would try to land a little bit more right and get that little low section over there, but that's a way smarter route.
Yeah. Catrina goes with the roller on this hole.
Is she trying to 2 it?
I don't know her intention, but it's hard to roll unless you wait a while to get it down because of that tall grass.
Yeah.
You know, you're almost throwing a sky roller.
Yeah.
So it got held up and left herself with this upshot, but she got it to circle's edge or better. I believe it was like 26, 28 feet.
This grass was real grabby. No skips out here.
I decided to go sidearm under the branches.
Nice.
Thanks. And Val, her famous air bounce approach shot, perfect as always. Anytime Hokom's lining up with that yellow disc, I think it's I don't know what it is, a jokery, I believe. Anytime she's lining up with that, I know she's
Deadly.
within 10 feet. That wasn't a gimme, so I wouldn't be too mad about missing that one. I think it was circle's edge or so. So Cat will take a 4, and the rest of us will take 3s. And move on to the Genius.
Oh, yeah. The famous hole. Would you say that's a signature hole on the course?
Yeah, on the whole property.
Yeah.
Yeah. People know Milo for the Genius hole.
So you walk up this path up through a bunch of fern-lined area, and everything's mossy, and there's huge. I talked to Nate Sexton this morning about the type of trees. I would guess maybe fir trees. He told me the property's about 50% fir, since we were asking yesterday, calling it a pine tree, but
If that's what Nate said, I say it's wrong.
I agree. But there's moss-covered trees everywhere, ferns. It really gets that tropical rainforest vibe all the way up in Oregon. It is awesome. We get to throw off a elevated tee pad and through a bunch of tall trees, and then it goes downhill pretty sharply to the basket.
And as opposed to the rest of the holes where there's only danger on the left or only on the right, there's danger everywhere on this hole. Short, long, left, right, everything. So you want to be as straight as possible for as long as possible.
That looks like it's going to be okay. A lot of women end up under those trees over there on the left, hyzering out a little early, hitting those branches, getting knocked down. There actually is a river way to the right, but unless you really get a hold of one, you don't really have to worry about it. But this hole goes along, and the next couple holes go along the Clackamas River. It's really pretty. You can hear it the whole time you're playing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Hokom up with her sidearm, of course.
It's a tough sidearm hole because if you crash right, there's a lot of tall grass and low branches.
Yeah,
Not a lot of good places to run up.
she definitely was looking for that to anhyzer a little bit more before finishing. Catrina, a little too much hyzer. She's going to catch a bunch of those trees and fall short of them.
That's probably the most common landing point on this hole, I'd say.
Just throwing a really overstable D1 out wide, looking for it to hyzer in. And it does, but it's just a little too short. She was so far back, it was hard to really give herself a putt from there.
Dang, throwing from a knee.
Yeah, we couldn't even see her. Me and Val were over on the left side, couldn't even see her, so
Wow,
this was
and she still gets it on up
amazing
there.
shot.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
amazing.
she got herself a jumper.
And the rain. This basket's kind of down in a dip, so it's really nice. You can kind of error either way, and you don't have to worry about skipping into the road on the left. That big tree to the right is not, you don't really want to be over there because those branches are lower than they look, and even taking a knee putt, they're still going to be in your way.
Definitely.
So you want to stay away from that big tree. Oh,
And it's inside the circle, so you can't fall.
yeah. Fall on your belly.
Yeah. Hokom to save it.
Ooh,
So close.
Dang.
So close. Catrina to save her 4. Just ramps off the top. She missed quite a few high yesterday, which is, I don't see a lot from Kat.
dang, this basket's getting everyone.
She'll have to settle for the bogey. And we are on to the back 9 after this.
It's weird to see so many people throwing wide open putts. I'm so used to the Milo blocked putt.
Yeah, pretty much.
So after the genius hole, we go on to one of the harder holes, I would say, on the course. It's a little tough, unless you have a hyzer, I guess.
Yeah, so make sure you tune into the back 9 to see the rest of these holes. The course is just going to continue to get longer and longer and harder, so make sure you tune back in, and thank you guys so much for watching.
And tuning into the ladies' coverage. We appreciate all the views we can get.
Thank you, Dee Dee, for sponsoring the ladies' coverage, and to the PDGA.
And thank you, Jomez, for taking the time out to go out in the rain and follow us around. It's awesome.
So awesome. Best footage in the game.
Woo!